The film begins with Yelena, who seems bored and lonely, as if she no longer has any purpose in life. But now she's on a mission to destroy a lab, something she accomplishes with ease. While recounting the events to someone, a scientist suddenly appears and asks if she was sent by Valentina. Yelena doesn't respond, but it's clear the scientist is trying to warn her that Valentina's plans aren't right, especially the Sentry project, which he believes is dangerous. Before he can finish his explanation, he shoots himself during a chaotic moment, disrupting Yelena's mission. As a result, she's forced to destroy the entire facility. Meanwhile, we see Bucky, who is now a Congress leader, a role that clearly doesn't suit him. However, he's there on a mission of his own, attending a hearing for Well, who's been accused of conducting illegal experiments, particularly on humans. The court suspects that she's trying to create a superhuman. Well, however, denies all the allegations, claiming she was appointed by the CIA because the Avengers are no longer able to handle such responsibilities, and now the burden falls on her. After saying this, Well walks out and instructs her lawyer to make sure that any evidence or accusations against her are completely erased so she won't end up in jail. Meanwhile, we see Yelena reaching out to the Red Guardian, telling him she wants to shut down Valentina's operations immediately. The Guardian is surprised to hear this, especially since he had just told her he was busy with his limousine business. But now, hearing Yelena's request, he completely changes his tone, saying that getting the chance to work with Valentina would be a huge opportunity for him. Yelena is stunned by his reaction, realizing that he's more focused on personal gain. She quickly understands that complaining about her problems won't get her anywhere. So she walks away, calls Valentina, and tells her she's not enjoying her current assignments and wants something else. Valentina, however, scolds her and then sends her to a facility where she's ordered to eliminate Ghost. Because according to Valentina, Ghost is there trying to steal some highly sensitive documents. But once Yelena enters the facility, she senses that something is off. She's not alone. US Agent, Ghost, and Taskmaster are also there. All four have been given the same mission: to eliminate someone who is supposedly betraying Valentina. Things take a dark turn when Ghost suddenly kills Taskmaster, revealing that something isn't right. Then a man named Bob appears out of nowhere, surprising everyone. After a tense exchange, Yelena begins to piece things together, realizing they weren't sent to destroy evidence, but that she is the evidence. They've all been lured there to be eliminated along with whatever information they might know. John Walker, US Agent, doesn't trust Bob at first, but with no other choice, he joins the group, especially after Valentina activates the incinerator system in the facility in an attempt to kill them all. The four of them manage to escape the location, but the explosion triggers a painful memory for Yelena. In a flashback, we see a younger Yelena calling a babysitter to her home on her team's instructions, leading to the babysitter's death. It was Yelena's first mission, and though it was a success, it left her with deep regret that still haunts her. When she snaps back to reality, she realizes her hand is resting on Bob's. But the moment passes, and they all silently move on. Meanwhile, Valentina discovers that the remaining three have now turned against her, and that there was also an unknown person, Bob, involved in the mission. Regardless, Well insists that all four must be eliminated as soon as possible. It's revealed that the limousine Yelena arrived in actually belongs to none other than the Red Guardian, who had overheard everything Well said. Meanwhile, at a party earlier, we see Bucky slipping Valentina's business card to his secretary Mel, suggesting she share any incriminating information she has on Valentina. Mel initially refuses, but after witnessing the full extent of Well's operations, she changes her mind and decides to pass the information along to Bucky. At the same time, Valentina learns that the mysterious fourth person in the facility was actually a subject from her secret impeachment program, and that he survived. The full meaning of this revelation isn't clear yet. Meanwhile, the four operatives, Yelena, Bob, Ghost, and US Agent, manage to regroup and escape the facility. However, as US Agent reaches out to help Bob climb to safety, he suddenly begins to experience vivid flashbacks, visions from his time as Captain America. He remembers his fall from grace and how the failure affected his personal life, especially his family. He had become so consumed by his role that he neglected them, ultimately causing his wife to leave him and take their son. It becomes clear they haven't fully escaped yet. Valentina has arrived at the site with her full security force, leading to an intense battle between the two sides. Just as the group is on the verge of escaping, Bob deliberately steps out in front of Valentina's troops to distract them. Despite Valentina shouting for her men to hold their fire, someone opens fire on Bob. The gunfire triggers something in him, activating a mysterious force or power, causing him to suddenly launch into the sky. But just as quickly as Bob shoots into the sky, he comes crashing back down at the same spot with immense force. Meanwhile, Yelena informs John Walker and Ghost that Valentina had been secretly working on a classified project, and that project was Bob himself. As they try to make sense of it all, Alex, Yelena's father, arrives in the Red Guardian persona, driving his limo straight into the chaos to rescue the group. Desperate to protect his daughter, he jumps into the fray and successfully helps them escape Valentina's forces. Just when it seems like things might be under control, Bucky suddenly shows up. At first, it looks like he's there to help, but he immediately destroys Valentina's tanks and then shockingly turns his attack on the limo. The group realizes Bucky hasn't come to save them. Instead, he's using them to bring down Valentina and end her impeachment program. But everything shifts again when Bob shares critical information with Bucky. Valentina had been using him as the core of her top-secret experiment. Upon learning this, Bucky decides to join forces with Yelena, John Walker, Ghost, and Red Guardian. Together, they make a plan to go to Avengers Tower, now known as Wash Tower in New York, to confront Valentina and rescue Bob from her control. Meanwhile, Valentina tries to manipulate Bob by explaining why he was created and what powers she gave him. But Bob is terrified, overwhelmed by the memories and trauma. When Valentina takes his hand, he begins to have vivid visions from his childhood, specifically the moment when his father was killed in front of him due to a mistake he made. The emotional surge interrupts their conversation, and Valentina begins to leave. But then Bob unexpectedly agrees to join her project. Valentina, thrilled by his decision, reports the news to her inner circle and invites the press to Wash Tower to announce the grand unveiling of her project. When the team finally arrives, they discover that Bob has fully transformed. He is now Sentry, a powerful weapon Valentina intends to use against them. In a brutal display, Sentry quickly overpowers the entire group, forcing them to retreat from Wash Tower, defeated and shaken. But as Sentry begins to leave, Valentina commands him to kill them all. To her shock, he refuses. Looking back at her, he declares, "I am a god now, and gods don't take orders from anyone." With that, he turns against her. Panicked, Valentina activates a hidden kill switch she had secretly installed in Sentry. With Mel's help, she narrowly manages to escape the chaos. But once Sentry rises again, he begins making everyone around him disappear, literally pushing the city into darkness. Massive destruction follows, and it's up to Bucky, Yelena, US Agent, and Ghost to rescue as many civilians as they can. Their heroism draws applause from the crowd, and even Valentina is stunned by what she sees. Suddenly, Bob reappears. Realizing the threat he poses, Yelena makes the bold decision to enter his shadow dimension, a twisted mental realm where he is consumed by trauma and reliving his worst memories. Yelena, too, is pulled into this nightmare loop, forced to confront her own painful past. In that place of darkness, she finally reaches out to Bob, urging him to let go of the guilt and pain he's been carrying for so long. "You have to move on," she tells him. "Only then can you truly be free." One by one, the rest of the team, Bucky, Ghost, US Agent, and Red Guardian, arrives inside the shadow dimension to support him. Together, they guide Bob through his darkest memories, helping him face his demons. In doing so, Bob manages to destroy his darker self, his black version, and finally reclaims control over his powers. He then restores the city, releasing everyone from the shadow realm, and symbolically steps out of his own darkness as well. But when it's over, Bob has no memory of what happened. Later, Valentina addresses the media, telling them that the world needed new Avengers, and now they have them. Yelena, US Agent, Ghost, Bucky, and Red Guardian. The announcement leaves everyone stunned, but Yelena calmly reminds Valentina and the press that they saved the city, not her. In the mid-credits scene, 14 months have passed. The Thunderbolts have now been officially recognized as the new Avengers. But not everything is smooth. Sam Wilson, Captain America, has filed a copyright lawsuit against the team over the name, claiming the Avengers title shouldn't be used without the original members' consent. Red Guardian, frustrated by the legal issues, jokes that they should just rename themselves the Avengers and drop the new entirely. The rest of the team brushes it off, not taking the idea seriously, for now. Just then, as they sit together in the rebuilt Avengers Tower, a signal flashes across their monitors. It's coming from space. Upon further analysis, they discover that a spacecraft has entered Earth's orbit, and it's not just any ship. It belongs to the Fantastic Four. The team stares in shock, realizing that something even bigger is coming. And with that, the screen fades to black. End of recap.